welcome along to the Invincible podcast. Lee Judge is back in the lobster is back.
Yeah, I see that last week, slagging me up like, yeah, I mean, like.
Hey, you do look brown though.
Thank you very much. Yeah, had a lovely week away, lovely. So it was really nice. Actually, I got family like from my mum's side that I didn't know were over there, and they was over there. So
Dubai.
In Dubai, same hotel. So I spent a few days with them, lovely, with their kids and all that. Like, so I was doing playing a bit of football, and it was really good. Really
It's ain't too hot at this time of year though.
It was very hot, but not as hot as. Funny enough, we had a few hotter days in May when we went in May than what it was this time. But there are times, look, you know, I like my son and all that, like, but you have to have a little break from it this time of year, like, you know.
Yeah.
And the one thing that is why I think that you don't get a lot of people going out there in August and that is at the night time. It's still you can't walk around at night. You know what I mean? That tires you out, like, you know. So you don't really go out. There's not much you can do outside, if you know what I mean. But listen, it's a good time to go. It's a little bit cheaper than you know what I mean. About £1,000 cheaper in August than it is like in the winter time and all that, like, you know. But yeah, lovely.
My mate from Dubai is over here.
Well out there.
You watched the friendlies?
Yeah, I did. I watched both games.
So you're losing it on the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Then on the second one, you calmed down.
I did. I have to say, the first one was so poor, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very poor, very
sloppy. All right, different side out and that. But my point being that sometimes that team's going to play. You know what I mean, in cup games and whatever, and it was so poor. But then, just when you think, I weren't looking forward. I don't know about, was you looking forward? I weren't looking forward to Saturday game. I weren't thinking, I'm not really looking forward to
Sunday.
this. So was it Sunday? Was it? Whenever it was. And then when it come on.
Oh, Saturday's game. I thought you meant this Sunday.
No, it was Saturday, wasn't it? Yeah. Saturday's game. And then when I watched it, I'm thinking, well, roll on Man United now, like, because we were so much better and it looked really, really good. I think everybody played really, really well.
Yeah.
So,
Gyökeres, of course, getting his first goal,
scoring,
and looking
that goal.
really sharp. You know what I mean? Diving headers and things like that. You know what I mean? He looked good.
So, like, you know, so that was the only regret. It was like his first goal. It's not really his first goal because he's only a friendly, isn't it? But like, you know, his first goal, I wasn't there to see it, like, you know what I mean? But listen, they played well. I've got to say that. Like, I like
Zubamendi.
Oh,
he looks apart.
Oh. How good! I didn't realise how good he actually was. I know, again, we're only talking friendlies, but I've seen him a few times, and I thought, yeah, he's decent. But on Saturday, he really, really impressed me. I thought,
Great on the ball, wasn't he?
Great on the ball, quick. I think that's something that, you know, might improve us this season. Just a little bit quicker in our play.
Yeah, in the play.
That's
true.
But he gets around the pitch and all that. Like, I like the sort of double pivot with him and Declan Rice. Rice looked better. Saka, I thought, looked much sharper.
He looked sharp.
Martinelli, that's his best game for a little while, like, you know. It'd be interesting what they're going to do at the weekend. You know what I mean? Because I thought Calafiori done well.
He did. And it was different, innit? Because he sort of overlapped more.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, obviously Miles Lewis-Skelly inverts more. So, yeah.
So that was interesting. And you know, I thought what was interesting as well, that Timber went over to left-back second half.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's what he might do.
Right? Ben White on the right.
Ben White on the right, come on at right back, didn't he? I think Ben White's had a very good pre-season, by the way. And Timber went to left back, and I think if I was Mikel, that's what I would do with that back four. Go solid in there. I think that Ben White's had a good but Timber is a very, very good defender, and if Man United have a strength, they're going to be their front three.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're gonna get stuck into that because obviously that's coming up at the big weekend, the season opener, massive game. All right, first of all, we got to talk about last night at Spurs, right? Now, right, it was glorious to see, right?
It's glorious.
It was glorious for me to see the old Spurs back. I mean, right? Because when that game got underway in that first half and that, I'm thinking, actually, they're playing all right. You know, they got it tactically right. They were dominating PSG. They should have. Did you remember that Bentancur had a free header?
Yeah.
He headed it over. I was like, listen, what's going on? What's going on with PSG in that? But normal services were resumed on 85 minutes. With only 5 minutes of the game to go, Spurs threw it away, right? Going from 2-0 up to it getting to 2-2. And then even when it went to penalties, they were leading the penalties as well. They threw that away as well.
Yeah.
Spursy returned.
It returned. And I'll tell you what, like, you know, if that game would have gone on another 5 minutes or gone into extra time, there was only one winner. There was only one winner. They'd gone time. But I will say this in their defence. I thought that they played very, very well. Very similar to how they played against us in Hong Kong. We found it
a lot more defensive now, isn't it?
Very, very defensive.
They literally had all defenders on the pitch.
Yeah, they played very, very defensively. And I think that the job he's got is to try and get in between that, like a bit too much defensive, if I'll be honest. So it'd be interesting how they go. But listen, I was fuming at PSG at one stage. Yeah, like, you know what I mean. They were awful, absolutely awful. And I'm going, why couldn't they have done that against us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, we would have destroyed them if
the amount of times they gave the ball away. PSG.
Oh, incredible! And like, you know, if you know, when I'm doing me nut and everything like that, but when that second goal went in, like, that was heaven. That was.
But even then, I was thinking it's a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
So, you know, but then they even messed it up as well, and they're back. Spursy are back.
Spursy are back, and they're all, you know, they go on about their Mickey, didn't they? Like, you know, well, he was, you know,
Mickey van der Ven.
Mickey van der Ven. I'm saying it now. He ain't a great defender. He's decent. His pace gets him out of trouble. Like, you know what I mean? But if he didn't have that pace, you know, I mean, he wouldn't be a good defender. Fault for the second goal, doesn't track his man, like, you know what I mean? And then he misses the penalty, like, you know what I mean? But it's all right, you know what I mean? He knocks one off the line and he scores a goal and, you know what I mean, puts his head in the way and they all love him, like, you know what I mean?
Abby was saying on the stream, I don't know if you saw the stream, it's absolutely brilliant that we did on DR.
Oh, what's it? I see you was trying to hold it in at one stage.
I was giving it to Expressions. He rung me. Expressions rung me during the stream when they were 2-0 up, going on, singing. Remember he did that thing where he was with the PSG fans and that, and he's singing, ole, ole, ole. How that has come back to haunt him.
That is pure gold. That bloke, actually, like, I'm going to say this, in Hong Kong, he is a real top guy. Very, very good company and all that, like. But there's no shame in that man, like, you know what I mean? No shame. He's actually wearing a PSG top and giving it large, and rips his heart out, Robbie. That rips his heart out. I wonder what year that shirt is now, like. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's on his wall, like, and every time he looks, it rips his heart out because they actually thought that they had won it.
Yeah.
Michelle's boy Regan rung me up going, I thought we'd won it and all that, like, you know what I mean? My brother, they're all thinking that, you know, they're already on their phone. He had me on speed dial, ready to, as soon as that game finished, to ring me. How dare you? You know what I mean? Like, and do you know what I mean? And,
you know what the interesting thing is, right? So for anybody who's playing, final one standing, the game brought to us by William Hill. Right, remember, you've got to make your pick before the first game on Saturday. Not the Liverpool game, the first game on Saturday, right? If you make it after that, you won't be able to enter, right? Let me just explain how the game goes, right? You pick a team to win, right? And that's very important, to win every week. And you can't pick that team again. Once you pick that team, that's it. So you pick a team to win. If your team wins, you go through to the next round. Simple as that. If they lose or draw, you are out. Out. If your team draws, you're gone, right? So you have to pick very carefully, right? If you want to enter, click the link in the description, scan the QR code on the screen, T's and C apply, gamble responsibly. You've got to be over 18 and in the UK. But Lee, I was, at the start of the week, I'm looking at the fixtures and I looked at our fixture. I'm not going nowhere near that. Arsenal versus Man United. That could quite easily go either way. It could be a draw. That's not a game to go with. I looked at a lot of the other games. I'm like, there's not loads of obvious standout games. The one game that stood out to me there's supposed to be a banker is Spurs at home against newly promoted Burnley. Yeah. I'm looking at that. I'm like, that's a banker. But then I said to myself, but do I trust these lot? Let me see how they get on against PSG before I make my pick. After watching that game, I'm not going with them. I'm not going with them. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, I still think they probably win it, but that could quite easily end up as a draw. I remember last year, Burnley, they had a really good defence. That's what helped them to get them up. And I'm thinking, plus as well, that game would have took a lot out of Spurs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not going nowhere near that game. I'm actually going to go for Man City to beat Wolves. away. I know it's an away game, and I know in the past Wolves have given them trouble, but
beaten them.
Wolves have lost a lot of players.
Yeah.
City have bought well. I just get a feeling that City will win that game. So I'm going City. I'm staying clear of that Tottenham game. Who have you gone for?
I've gone for Nottingham Forest at home against Brentford for the same sort of reasons.
A good shout still, you know.
Brentford have lost a few players. New manager. Forest at home. You know what I mean? Kept their main man this season. So I think that they're in a pretty good shape. So do you know what? I actually looked at it. You know, I think there's... Aston Villa Newcastle. I could not predict that one.
Can't go near.
Leeds Everton was another one. Couldn't predict that one.
Could easily be a draw.
Man United Arsenal could be a real.
Can't go near that.
Ain't going near it. There was 4 or 5 that I'm thinking. West Ham Sunderland. I'm thinking, right, can I trust West Ham? Sunderland.
Yeah.
No. You know what I mean? So,
and I mean the Spurs. When you look at it, that should be the banker.
It's the banker, but I cannot.
I think most people have gone for that. I can never pick
Spurs to win. I'm not being. I want to go deep into this competition, you know what I mean?
Hold on. But
so I can't cheer Spurs to win.
You say you can never pick Spurs, but at some stage you're going to have to pick them.
No, just let it ride to the end.
No, but all right, suppose you get down to the end, right? Because how it would work is you get down, say you did, and you got right down to the end. You can't pick a team. Once you picked a team, you can't pick them again. So once you pick Forest, you can't pick them again. You know what I mean? So if you get right down to the end, you might end up with, that's it. All you've got is Spurs.
I'm hoping that I will be the last one there then. Like, you know what I mean?
No, but then, but it might be that you're not the last one there, so you're going to have to pick Spurs.
Well, then...
Spurs could win you £500,000 because that's the prize money. 500 grand. It's free to enter, by the way. I forgot to say that. It's free to enter, right?
It gives you a share of it, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean?
No, but you could even, or a share, but it could all be yours. Yeah. 500 grand. You're telling me you're not going to pick Spurs?
No.
You're lying. If it gets right down to the end of it.
I'm not going to try and leave it as long as I can then, all right? I cannot, not being horrible. I want to, as I say, I don't want Spurs beating Burnley on, you know what I mean?
Nor do I, but.
So, like, you know.
500 grand.
Well, I suppose there's a compensation if you do, like, you know what I mean, along the line. But I'm going to, listen, I want Spurs to lose or draw on the weekend, like, you know what I mean? And I want to at least go a little bit deep in this competition.
Imagine this, right? Imagine this. I don't even know when did we play Spurs? I don't know.
November time, was it?
Suppose it got down to it.
Oh, you got only them.
Final game.
And you got like,
right?
What consolation, like, if you lose?
Arsenal versus Spurs, right? And you go pick Spurs, final one, right? If Spurs win, you win 500 grand.
Then you it's a compensation that you'll have to. Not a bad one to live with, is it? Like, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. Listen, that's the game. You've got to get your picks in, right? As I said before,
I'm excited about this game, by the way.
We played it one time before in the office, right? It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's a game, but you know what? Last time, remember, I kept going, I'm going all tactical here, and I'm not going to pick this team. I'm going to wait till next week. I'm not doing that.
No, just...
What I learned last time is I'm just going for teams that I feel are going to win. Yeah. Forget the tactics, forget later down the line. I'll deal with that then. I'm just going to handle this on a week-to-week basis. I'm going City. I feel... Because I can't trust Spurs on the... It should be the banker, but I can't
I'm going City in the next game against Spurs. That's if risky. I get through.
That's risky. Spurs got a good record against them.
Yeah, but...
That's risky. Anyway...
It's the only couple of times I really want Man City to win. I'm going to go with the teams that are playing Spurs. So, you know, I don't know. Tactically, that's what I'm going to do because I don't really want Man City to win any game. But if I do want them to win a game, it's against Spurs. So I'm going to go, you know, if I get through, I'm going to go that one.
Anyway, talking about North London teams against Manchester teams, we start off this week against Manchester United away at Old Trafford. It couldn't get more harder, even though where they finished last year, don't watch that, right? Because, you know, we know that they always turn up when they play us. Lee is a tough game. As you said, you know, at least we finished off the preseason on a high. 5 games in preseason, 3 wins, 2 defeats. What are you thinking ahead of this game? Manchester United, they've bought well so far, you know what I mean? And Buemo, good signing, 20 goals last season. Cunha lit it up last season at Wolves. Sesko, who we were actually after at one stage when we turned our attentions to Gyökeres, is the Sesko versus Gyökeres show, really. What's your feelings around the game?
One thing I'm going to say about Man United, right? They were absolutely awful last season, like embarrassing, right? You know what I mean? I don't know any other club that could do what they've done in this transfer window with no European football, a trip to Grimsby to look forward to. Like, you know what I mean? As poor as they were, to be able to make the signings that they've done, I think you have to give Man United as a club that has got power. There's no two ways about that.
I've said it before.
It's incredible. I don't think that a lot of teams can do what they've done with Champions League football. You know what I mean? Like,
and they're still trying to bring in like Belabor and looking at Donnarumma and stuff like that. So
incredible. I've actually, this transfer window, it's made me realise that Man United are a big club. Like, they shouldn't be where they were last season. It was embarrassing all round. Like, So the one thing I fear about Man United, and I think this is why I'm quite happy we're playing them now, right, is that over the course of this season, for 3-4 months, right, they're not going to have Champions League football, so they're not going to be playing a lot of midweek games, so they can get on that training pitch and work out. So I think they're going to be dangerous. I do, but I don't think they're going to be at their very, very best at this moment in time. So when people go, "Oh, you got Man United first game," so I think it's a good time to be playing Man United.
Oh, okay. Away though.
Away, at home, I don't care. Like, they're going to be a different force in 3 or 4 months' time. I'm telling you, with the players that they've got, with all of that in there, So I think at the end of the day, they're not quite ready at this moment in time. So it's a good time to take them on.
It's not a bad shout, because like if you look at it, I think Mbuemo's not played lots of games, if I'm right, or he's not started a lot of games. I mean, he's just been put a bit. They're easing him in.
Sesko's been a week,
right? Sesko's only just joined, so even though they're saying he might play, he's not really effectively played with the team yet. And we've seen even with Gyökeres, we're still trying to get used to him. So yeah, there could be a lot of new faces on that pitch that haven't really played together. In a real competitive game. So you're right, it could be that because, you don't want to catch up to speed Man United with that front three. That's a good front three they got there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, very
And
good.
they might have more.
Yeah,
as I said, they might have Belabor in there, they might have a Donnarumma in goal, they might, but yeah, because I think even the keeper's just coming back from injury.
Yeah, they're still weak at the back.
No Mazzarari, I think he's out injured. I mean, they've got a couple of little injured. Xerxes out. So it's not a bad shout what you're saying there. Whereas with Arsenal, it's kind of been a bit different because a lot of the injured players have been having pre-season to get themselves up to speed. So you saw in the last game, I thought the first game in which Gabriel came in, it was a bit rusty. You could see, and he's been out injured for a long time. But in the last game, he looked a bit more assured. Saka, over the period of the pre-season, has got better as the games has gone on. And the last game, he looked really sharp and hungry. And Timber also, he's starting to come back into after he's been out for a while. And even Calafiori. And I think as well with Arsenal, they've got a very stable side. Yeah. I've been talking about, this transfer window where a lot of people are saying, well, watch out for this team and watch out for that team. And that's true because, like Liverpool's and made some amazing signings. But there's a lot of changes in those teams that they're going to have to get used to. But you look at Arsenal and the spine of that team is still the same kind of thing. It's the same back four, really.
Yeah. Same midfield.
It's the same back line, isn't it? Same keeper. They've just brought in a good backup to that keeper. And then that back four is Timber White, one of them two. Over in the other side, Lewis Skelly or, Calafiori. And then you've got Gabriel Saliba. It's the same. That four with the keeper behind him is the same that's been playing week in, week out, for a long time. Then you go to the midfield. They brought in Zubimendi, but the other part of it's the same. It's the same Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, And then up front, Saka, who's been there all the time, and then probably has got to be Martinelli. And then they brought in a new striker. It's not like wholesale changes in the team. A lot of the players that they brought in, even someone like a Norgard who they brought in, is a guy that should be able to hit the ground running because he's got Premier League experience. He's the captain of Brentford. So we've got a difficult start to the season, but you've got a kind of a stable side.
Yeah.
It's not like, you look at Liverpool, it's a new defence, really, in effect.
And it showed
you got Konate, and it showed in the Community Shield. You've got Konate, you've got obviously Van Dijk.
The two fullbacks are different.
Two fullbacks are different. It's different dynamic. They're still great fullbacks, but it's new dynamics to get into place. So it's and even up front for Liverpool, there's a few changes. I think that's going to set us in good stead. And you're right, it might be a good time to be playing United before they really get up to speed.
Yeah. So that's why it's important that Arsenal go there, defend well, make sure that they've got the proper defenders in with a structure, and then I want to see us go up there and really show it, flex our muscles a little bit. Like, do you know when and it won't happen, but when we was a little bit vulnerable and doing this and doing that, Man United would come down here, and really put it on us. You know what I mean? Like, set the tone straight away. Like, I remember Liverpool doing it to us, Chelsea doing it to us, and you think to yourself, well, we ain't winning the league. We're, what I mean, like, best we can get is top 4, like, that's what we've got to do to them on Sunday, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, go, well, we've got this, and we got that, but we ain't nowhere near as good as that. And that's what we've got to do. Whether we can do that or not, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's difficult, because like you said, even last season when they were rubbish, they still, we drew them at Old Trafford. They beat us in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
It was on penalties, but it was a draw effectively over 90 minutes. So we didn't beat them, whether you want to look at it that way or whatever, but we still didn't beat them. And even when we beat them at home,
we struggled.
They gave us a good game. It's not going to be an easy game.
No.
It's a tough start. It's a tough start for Arsenal, and this is but you want to get off to a win. Would you take a draw now? Away at Old Trafford, first game of the season. Would you take a draw?
Yeah, I wouldn't be that annoyed about it if that was the case. But I think that if Arsenal are going to go and win this league, right, and this is, it's fine margins, Rob, and you've got to go into play because I think if I've been really honest, I think Liverpool will go there and get a win. So will City. So we've got to do that. I would, but I'd be a little bit disappointed.
But them two teams didn't get wins there last year, though.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
it's not an easy place.
It's not an easy place to go.
And that stadium's going to be rocking.
It's not, but I do think that how I look at it, is that they're a little bit vulnerable. Still a little bit vulnerable. I don't care what anybody says. Like, the manager is under a little bit of pressure and all that. These are the teams when you just show your authority. It's happened to us in the past, Rob. You know what I mean? Like, we've been in a little bit of turmoil and whatever. Do you remember when Chelsea come down a few seasons back? I think Emery was manager, 2-0. It was a comfortable Chelsea 2-0 win. And I walked away from that going we're nowhere near as good as them. You know what I mean? Like, that was after one game, you know what I mean? It panned out to be that, you know what I mean? We was in 4th or 5th at the end of the time. That is what we've got to do to these teams, you know what I mean?
Put a marker down.
Put a marker down, not just to Man United, but the league, you know what I mean? Like, when you look around and go hold on, Arsenal. Because I look at it and all these pundits and everybody out at this moment in time is not giving Arsenal a chance. They're saying second again, or whatever, bother. So we've got to make these people change their mind. And how you do that is by going to teams like Man United and giving them a win. If you go there and draw, people go, yeah, well, that's what I sort of expected, you know what I mean, like whatever, or they've gone and lost, well, that's the typical Arsenal, not quite there. You go there, go bang, bang, and then go, hold on a minute, they look like they're the real deal, you know. Ideally, you want to go there and win 2-0, 2 goals from Gyökeres. That'd be like my perfect scenario, like, you know what I mean. I don't think it'd be as plain sailing as that. I think it'd be a very, very difficult game. But listen, it ain't the end of the world to draw at Man United. I get that. What you're saying, like, you know, they're going to be a difficult team.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a tough game. What to ask you, like, obviously in that game, our captain Martin Odegaard will be leading us out. What do you make of the comments from Tony Adams? Tony Adams, legendary Tony Adams, saying basically that he feels that the captaincy needs to change from Martin Odegaard to Declan Rice, and that Arteta, if he doesn't do it, then he's not showing that sort of winning mentality and stuff like that.
I thought it was a very interesting take. Let's get this right. It's an opinion. It's not. He's not right and he's not wrong. It's opinion. I can't believe
He's been getting a lot of stick for it.
Heat over it, and people slagging him off, because of his managerial things and all that, and blah 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 blah. I don't see why he can't just debate it. In my opinion, this is my opinion. I don't think he's right. And I'll tell you why I don't think, because I think that the dynamics of it all would be too much. Because at this moment in time, which people seem to have forgotten about, is that Saka's our vice captain. So you're actually going over Saka as well. You know what I mean?
But the point he's making is sometimes you're in charge. You've got to make these ruthless decisions.
Yeah, listen, it would be a ruthless decision, but I think it would unstable the team too much, in my opinion. But again, I might be right. Listen, when Tony Adams talks about captains, I don't care. You know what I mean? Whether you're a cult Mikel fan or you're not. You know what I mean? Or you're just an Arsenal fan. I listen to what he's got to say. What he was saying, I get what he's saying. I totally get it. He's not slagging Martin Odegaard off as a player. He's just saying that he's not captain material. That you know what I mean? It is something that he's got a right and opinions to say.
Is it the same captaincy as it was sort of in his day? In his day, captain, like, he was a brilliant captain, and the captain carried a lot of
weight,
responsibility, weight. The captain, he was like, he was the coach on the pitch almost, right? Is it the same now? You hear about teams saying, we've got like a leadership group where there's 4 or 5 players that are deemed to be the sort of leaders of the team. And if you look at Arsenal, I guess that you'd look on that and say, well, that would be Odegaard, Rice, Gabriel, maybe. There's that leadership, and Saka, I guess, as your leadership group. Is it that it's different now and that he needs to understand that, or?
It is different now, but that doesn't make it right. If I was playing football now, I'd rather have Tony Adams captain me than Martin Odegaard. That's nothing against Martin Odegaard, because we're fortunate knowing Kevin, that Kevin told us what was going on in as he was as a captain. How did he lead and everything like that? And they'd have nights out, and Tony Adams never arranged all them. He got Kevin to go and do all that sort of stuff, so he delegated sort of stuff and all that, Now I think that with Martin Odegaard, he leads by example. I don't think he's ever going to be late for training. He's going to train hard and everything like that, and he works hard. One point that I do agree with Tony Adams on it was that he was turning around and saying that you need your captain to be playing week in, week out. Now, when Tony played, you knew he was getting a 7 out of 10 every single game and was always going to play. Martin Odegaard at the moment, I don't know if he carries on as he did from last season. I don't think he's going to be in this team much longer. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of a problem, But for me, I think that there's different captains now. I don't necessarily agree with, your best player is your captain or whatever. But if you look at Ronaldo, do you think Ronaldo's a great captain? I don't know. You know what I mean? But he gets it because he's Ronaldo. Same as Messi, same as a lot of players and all that. Now, Tony makes that great point about changing things and all that, but he didn't agree with changing it when Alan Shearer became captain, did he, in 98 after what he had done in 96? Massive call from Glenn Hoddle. So, I don't think that was the right decision, by the way, to take it away from Tony. A ridiculous decision, you know what I mean? But, it can upset. I think it can upset the apple cart by doing this, because what I would take from it, if I was a player or a fan, we watching games and all that, I do believe that Martin Odegaard's a very, very popular figure in the team.
You've seen even Wanyeri, for instance, say that he goes to Odegaard and get advice and stuff.
So I think if you was to and I don't think it's very good. I look back at one thing. Aston Villa with Steven Gerrard. Do you remember when he come in and he dropped it and I don't think he ever recovered from that.
Who did he drop again?
He dropped Tyrone Mings, didn't he? And
That's right. To
McGinn.
Yeah.
right? And and still Tyrone Mings was still in the team and everything. I don't think he ever won the dressing room over for that decision. Like,
yeah, sometimes you make them decisions. Like, even when I was watching that PSG game, right? You know, apparently that decision to sort of get rid of Donnarumma has not gone down very well with the other players. They're very upset about it, but he's very close with all of them and very good pals with them. And was that a reflection on how they kind of played at first? You know what I mean? You know, these things can affect players where they feel a bit disgruntled, like they see how someone's been handled and they'd be like, well, I could be next. And why have they handled him like that? He's a popular guy. We all like him. We all respect him. And like you said, captain dynamics now different to when the days of Tony Adams, when you knew, you could see who the captain was on the pitch. They led with, you know...
there was a different game of football then. Like, I mean, if you talk to Tony, I've been fortunate enough too. You know, if he wasn't playing that well, he could go and kick someone, and the crowd would be roared up and everything like that. You can't do that now. You know what I mean? There's all sort of things like that. And, you know, I'd rather debate the conversation and slag him off and say he ain't done this and ain't done that.
Yeah, you shouldn't slag him off.
One thing
He's still a legend.
He's still a legend. And one thing I will say is that, and I would argue this, I don't think that Martin Odegaard's done a bad job. It's not like he's been a bad captain for us. No. This is a bloke that's took over when we was 8th in the league and got us challenging for second. So I don't think, again, it's a little thing about fine margins, isn't it? What is going to get Arsenal and Mikel Arteta over the line? Is it Gyökeres, a new recruits? Is it going to be a little bit ruthless, a different captain, or Arteta being a little bit more adventurous? All those little things just make a little bit difference. Well, when you're talking about a captain and a bloke, and there was one when he said like, "Oh, you've got to have this and you've got to have that." Well, you know, he's won 4 titles. He knows exactly what it's like to win trophies as a captain and lead and everything like that. And I, you know, like when I was speaking to Kevin, I said, you know, people would run through walls for him. He had that thing about him where he could just, you know, run through walls. Odegaard, I think, you know, it's a thing, isn't it, Rob? You know what I mean? They talk about you're in the trenches and all that, like, you know what I mean? Like, Tony Adams says, "You're right, lads, we're going over," like, you know what I mean? You're going to go. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to do that with Martin Odegaard? Yeah. That's the thing. Like,
it's hard to say because, you know, especially when you're not in there and you don't know.
You don't know.
All
exactly
I know is
that.
when I've spoken to people at the club, right, they say he's a natural leader, right? So, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, listen, if he can lead us to a title, you know.
Yeah, like, I hear people saying it's bad timing and all that. Like, he's doing a show, isn't he? Like, so
he's doing a show. He's doing a show. Like you said, he's got his opinion. I don't see nothing.
No,
it's his opinion. And we know that Tony Adams, right, I could have some quite controversial opinion. I've met him before, spoken to him, and he does have some quite controversial opinions, but those are his opinions, and he's entitled to them. And you know what? The guy's been there and he's done it all. Yeah. Right, so you got to respect.
And he wants Arsenal to win as well.
And he's
not one of these people.
No, he's a big Arsenal fan.
He's a big Arsenal fan. Every time you see him, like, up the Gunners, you know what I mean? Like,
he's a legend. They got a statue of him at the stadium, man. We can't just like...
listen, the other thing of it all is that these players... what's Martin Odegaard going to think about? When he meets Tony Adams and all that, like... They won't care. They understand that there's criticism in football, you know what I mean? There's opinions in football. You know what I mean? Like... And that's how it is, like, you know. Look, to me, Tony Adams can say what he likes, right? I'm not going to slag him off for it. Sometimes I don't agree. I actually don't agree with what he's saying. You know what I mean? I think that Declan Rice is would be a fantastic cat. I don't think it's the right thing to do at this moment in time. That's my opinion. So I'm not going to slag him off about it. He's one of the only people I've met. We've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of Arsenal. The first time I met Tony Adams, I was more nervous than any other player that I've met. Because it was, he's the mate, the aura of him. Yeah. You know, I mean, when you actually get to talk to him, the aura goes a little bit, if you know what I mean, because he's a nice guy. But at the end of it, never question. And if people have been questioning it, fans, that, you know, he's like, he don't like Arsenal through and through. And he ain't worried about what Mikel's doing or whatever, like, you know what I mean? He's had a good life, you know what I mean? So at the end of it, I've seen people on fans saying, "Oh, he must be drunk again," and things. You know, our own fans saying that.
It's out of order. The guy's not drunk.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. He's an Arsenal legend. He's got an opinion about a captain and Mikel Arteta. And if I'm going to be really honest, when they asked him the question, "Do you think Mikel's a winner?" He first of all hummed and hawed a bit. He said, "Hold on a minute. He's won the FA Cup. He put that out there. Are we 100% sure that Mikel can get us over this line?" And
yeah, and also I've spoken to a lot of fans on the channel who think that Declan Rice should be captain as well. So
yeah,
it's his opinion. I mean, obviously his opinion's a very loud one because of who he is, but it's his opinion. It still gets the same respect from me 100%. I mean, that's the guy's opinion, right? And you know, he knows a lot. He's been there, done it. Yeah, right? He knows all about captaincy. I mean, so we have to respect and listen to what he has to say. He was a great, great captain, right? So we have to, respect his opinion.
He was the best captain we've ever had.
Exactly. So, we got to listen.
Like, he's up there, like you could push Vieira for it, for the Invincibles and all that, like, but for me, like,
he's a legend.
He's a legend. Like,
we've got a statue of him, as I said. So, what's more likely to win a title rather than a captain is more like, still strengthening that team, bringing in players. The player that we've been heavily linked with is Eze, but more and more he's starting to see rumours looking like he could go to Spurs. Fabrizio Romano saying that, he's open to a move to Spurs. Lots of the big journalists have been reporting it. He's open to the move to Spurs. Spurs are making their moves. Arsenal haven't moved for him yet. There's still a lot of talk that Arsenal has more Iron Rodrigo. What do you think with this move for Eze? Should Arsenal get him? Is he actually a left winger? We need a left winger. If Trossard goes, which is looking increasingly likely, he's only got a year left on his deal. He's been linked, today he's got linked with Aston Villa. He's been linked with Galatasaray, everybody. Do we get Eze?
It is
right, because if he goes to, Spurs are pushing for him hard. They need an attacking midfielder. Yeah. They didn't get Morgan Gibbs-White. Kulusevski's out injured. Madison's out for the season.
Is Trossard a left player, wide left player?
Not really.
No. So Eze isn't as well, but I think he'd be an upgrade on Trossard. Nothing against Trossard, I think he's been fantastic for us. But at the end of the day, he's 30 years of age now, got a year left of his contract, he's not going to sign another contract. So, football's ruthless, so you have to say, right, so if you're going to...
do they get an upgrade on Trossard, or do they go for a direct left winger, like someone who will give it like the back? Because if you're saying, you've got Martin Odegaard, Ethan Wanier is clearly going to play as in that midfield position as well. You don't want to stunt his growth in that as well. So you put in Eze on the left, but he's not really a left winger, is he? He's not.
Yeah, but
I don't.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm looking at it as you're going, right, you're letting Trossard go. Well, I'm replacing you with Eze. That's how you should look to it. If you still need a left winger, Rob, then you go and get one. There's no excuses. That you've just gone and spent £52 million on a Chelsea squad player. So don't tell me you've not got no money. And if you have, then someone needs to be pulled up on it, So I'm looking at it and thinking, right, you're letting Trossard go. Eze is a perfect replacement because he can come in and do different. And at the end of the day, you don't want. I'm not being horrible. You don't want another Martinelli or so it's like for like. You do want to, if things ain't going well, you need to, we need to vary it up a little bit, So I think Eze would come into the left hand. Sometimes in those low block teams, you'll need someone that more of an Eze than a Martinelli that's going to. But when you're playing Man United away or Man City, you're probably going to need someone that's got the pace. So I think it's horses for courses, and I think Eze would be the perfect choice for that. The problem that Arsenal have got with that is that when Tottenham come knocking on the door as well, Tottenham are going to say, well, you're going to be playing here, and you're going to be playing every single week.
Yeah.
Right. With Arsenal, you might not be playing every single week.
And it's a World Cup year. And if you're a player like Eze, You want to be playing every week. What Spurs can also offer him, what Arsenal can offer him, of course, is Champions League football. So you're going to be playing at that level.
Week in, week out.
Week in, week out. And you get into, you know, and it helps you to get into the England squad. But should Arsenal let him, you know, because at the moment, Spurs are ahead of them in this one. It still, when you read a lot of things, it still sort of looks like it's going to come down to Arsenal. How much do they want him?
That's the thing.
Right? If they really want him, obviously
he
he was an Arsenal player, you know, he'd love to come back and, you know, Arsenal with more chance of winning a league than Spurs, right? But if they, even if they half want him, he might look at it and think, well, Spurs really want me. And at the end of the day, they're professional footballers, Arsenal fan or no Arsenal fan, and he might say, they really want me. They got a decent team. They're in the Champions League. I'm going to play every week. They really, really want me. They've really put the money down.
And do you know what? It doesn't, you know, even in like when I was playing and all that, like, and you was talking to a couple of clubs, it would never come down to money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're all offering round about the same, you know what I mean? But when you talk to a manager and you go in and he wants you, he really wants you, that is the conversation you have with that manager is the one that matters. I remember I had two clubs wanting to sign me, and one was phoning me up all the time and the other wasn't. So I went to the one that was phoning me up all the time. Like, do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day,
they wanted you.
They wanted. It was like maybe the other one didn't. He'd do a job, but no, I really want you. I'll give you the number 10 shirt or whatever number you wanted. Like, you know what I mean? Like, blah 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 blah. That all of those little things go a long way. Whatever level of football you're in, like, you know what I mean. So I think that conversation that you have is important. Like when I was speaking to Kevin when he had conversation, he used to say that goes, that first meeting that you have, because you've got, like, you know, if you're lucky enough, like an Eze or whatever, you're going to have 3 or 4 clubs. Sometimes you don't have that. You know, you just have the one club coming here and that's it for it, like, you know what I mean? But like with Gyökeres, with so-and-so, with whoever, like, you know, they've got 3 or 4 options. So they go around in a day and go and talk to all these managers. And that manager, what he says in that first meeting can be the most important thing. So, for instance, if he goes out meeting with Arteta and Arteta says, yeah, like, you know, you'd be sharing a role with Martinelli, you know what I mean, maybe a couple of places here and all that line. He come out of that and he goes into Frank and he goes, oh, you're going to be my number 10, play week in, week out. What are you going to, you know what I mean, you think, oh, hold on a minute, I think, like, I want to go here. So I think that if Arsenal are determined and really, really want him, then I think that they get him. But at this moment in time, are they showing that they really, really want him? I don't know, Rob. I don't know.
Where do you think he's going to end up?
If I'm a betting man, Arsenal. I think, you know what I mean? Mike was on here last week saying, you know what I mean? Like, Smarty Marty was on here last week.
Smarty Marty was saying that, but, you know, things have moved on since what Smarty Marty was saying. We don't know.
You know I mean? So we'll have to wait and see. I think it's a difficult one.
I think at the moment it's a 50-50, you know.
At the moment, I think what would be really interesting if both stump up the money.
If both stump up the money, I think it'll go Arsenal.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm not convinced that Arsenal are going to stump. Arsenal need, I still think, you know, like, if we're going to go and win this league, we need somebody like an Eze or someone
of that quality. If we don't get Eze, it has to be Rodrigo or somebody.
Yeah, they definitely need
Rodrigo's going to cost so much money. I just think, I don't know, listen, I don't care how much money it costs. Just get one of those. Then it's been a fantastic window if we do that.
I think that we need someone like Eze or someone like that that's just for those games at home in particular, unlocking a defence.
Yeah, especially, like you said, the great point you made, especially if Trossard goes. Because Trossard, well, I think has been good for Arsenal since he's come in, can unlock, you know, how many times has he come off the bench, scored goals, big goals, you know what I mean? So, and Trossard to me is going to go. If he, unless they sign him on an extension or something. But
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
It's going to be 20 million, 2020.
Yeah, he's got a new agent in. I just don't think, you know.
Fantastic deal someone's going to get for him, about for 30 million, 20, maybe 20 million, he's 30 years of age. You're going to get 20, 30 million for Kivior. So you got 50, 60 million pounds to throw in to the Eze deal, like, you know what I mean? Like, if that's what you want to do. So, you know, listen, these teams talk and all that. Like, they might have even spoke to Eze already and said to him, "Look, old fire, we've got to get rid of a few before we can get you in." But
that's what they've been trying to say. That's what their claim's been said, but
that ain't a good thing, though. You know what I mean? I don't know about you. I want to. If I'm signing for Arsenal, I want to be playing or being from the beginning. I don't want to be like 3 or 4 games down the line. I know this is again football change. You know what I mean? Like the transfer window now. But if I'm Eze, I'm saying, like, oh, well, hold on a minute. I want to be. But you know, Spurs are in that same boat. Whatever happens, he's not playing the opening game of the season for Arsenal or Spurs.
No. Well, it's nearly here, people. The season's nearly started. As I said, don't forget final one stand-in, right? The link is in the description, or scan the QR code on the screen. Lee's gone for Forest to win the first game. I've gone for Man City, right? Remember, if you win, you go through to the next round. If you draw or if you lose, you're out, right? So you've got to be over 18 to play. Terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly. A chance to win £500,000 and it's free to play, right? So if you're interested, the link is in the description. Before we go, gotta just find out from you, just a few little quick fires at you, right? Who will score the most goals this season for Arsenal?
Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz, interesting. Not Gyökeres.
No, Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres will get it, but I do think Kai Havertz will play a lot more than what people are thinking he is.
Who's going to surprise people this season at Arsenal? Kai Havertz.
I do believe that. I do believe Kai Havertz will surprise everybody this season.
I fear it's going to be Zubimendi. He's going to surprise a lot of people this season at Arsenal.
Okay.
Who is going to be Arsenal's most important player this season?
Saka. Saka's the best player.
Yeah.
People slag me off a little bit, so I don't give him enough credit. But the reason I don't is because my expectations of him are so high. I just think he's the best player on the team.
Could be for me. Not Saka's the best player, but it could be Gyökeres.
Okay.
It could be the most important player because if he delivers the goals,
we go on and
we could go on and win it, right? We could go on and win it. And do you think we'll win the league this season?
Yeah, I'm gonna back us. I'm gonna back us.
Took his time.
Listen,
I get it because it's such a competitive.
This is how I feel about it. Over the last couple of years, I have actually said if we'd had a proper centre forward, we win the league. Going into the last season, like the back end of last season, right? You know, from January to May, we played with a midfield player up front, and we still competed on. Got second and got to the semi-final of the Champions League. What would you do with a proper centre forward? We got that now, right? My only question, you know what I mean, I'm going to get pills for it. I ain't too sure if the manager has got what it takes to get us over the line. I believe that he deserves a chance. He has got to go and deliver it now, like, you know. And so that is my only concern. That is. Has he got the scruples? Has he got it just to get us over the line? I'm hoping and praying that he has.
Okay. Lee Adams, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for watching the show today.
Hold on. What about yourself? Do you think, where you're getting me into it? Like, you know, let's put yourself there.
I think we can win the league.
That's not the question.
I'll go back my team as well. I'll back us to win the league, right? But we got a striker, but then everybody else has gone to strengthen at the same time with two really good players, you know. But I feel that, you know, one of the question that I didn't ask, maybe I should ask this one as well. I think this is a big year for Arteta. I think he has to win something.
Yeah.
And I don't think it can be just a Carabao Cup either. I think it has to be something significant. He has to.
What about if he won both the FA Cup and the League Cup? Would you?
He stays.
Yeah, I'm with you on that count. I think if he was to win one,
if he won one of them and did really well in the league again, like it was a really close thing, he'd stay. But I don't think he can afford to have a season where he wins nothing.
He can't have the season he had last season where we didn't challenge the league.
I don't think he can have that.
I think he'd be. I've got a feeling that he's gonna be the man this year.
Let's hope and let's pray. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, of course, we'll be at Old Trafford, right? Looking forward to the game, right? So don't forget to check out all of the fan cams afterwards. We've got watch along, of course, in the studio. Marty's going to be hosting that, right? So make sure you check that out.
Smarty Marty,
Smarty Marty, we're bringing a load of life to that, right? And also, don't forget to check out all of our previews leading up to the game, right? It's the big one, Manchester United versus Arsenal. That's what kicks off the season. We are here, people. And also, who else are we going to bring in before the window closes? You find it out here on AFTV first as well. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.